Listen, you know your award show is tanking when you announce your nominations and everyone is talking about the one show you didn't even nominate. Now, I personally feel that the only reason people still take them seriously is because of the money that these studios pump into them. It's like they think that they're the G and EGOT. But to me, I just think that they're funny to recap. They don't really define the best of the best. It's just treating art like sports in order to give them gold while these stars just, they all get drunk at home. But for a show that's honoring moving pictures, they couldn't even figure out how to work Zoom.
You're doing me dirty. You're doing me dirty.
This year it was even goofier, though, because they were dealing with all these reports that came in against them. So the show, they had to balance honoring the nominees or honoring themselves for fighting the inequality that they started.
Yeah, those bitches are messy.
Yes, they're messy.
Luckily, they got Tina to crack some jokes for them because, she did voice Disney Pixar's first black character.
Let us explain what this even is.
Now, in terms of previous years, this one went from 18.3 million viewers in 2020 to barely 6.9 million in a year when everyone's at home. This time, the live show that was pre-recorded took place in multiple locations from New York to LA. And while I do love Faye and Polar, I do think they do a great job as hosts. Man, are they lucky they didn't bring back Ricky. Now, when it comes to the acting awards, the Globes do this thing where they split it in a way where the lead actors for the movies get split into 2 categories, and in TV, they split it into 3, and then they're all divided between male and female. But when it comes to supporting, it's more all lumped into one. In terms of the movies, I do wish some love went to Paul Raci for his performance in Sound of Metal, and I wish he got a nomination for that. I also really do like the entire cast of One Night, and I do see them all as supporting, which I don't see as a bad thing. That's more so what Regina claimed them to be in terms of what the film is going for. But damn, am I going for Kaluuya all the way. NBC can host The Voice, but somehow couldn't Kaluuya's at first. But after glitching him out, my man shouted out Nipsey in his speech. He shouted out his homies. He just overall gave one hell of a talk.
There's a lot of information about how he died, but I hope you people out there will grow and learn about how incredibly he lived.
Jodie Foster also won. In terms of supporting for TV, Hollywood doesn't know what to categorize small acts. It's just been embarrassing seeing the award shows and critics. Sometimes they'll deem it the best TV. Sometimes they'll consider all of the movies as one movie altogether. I'm just glad to see that Boyega won and was honored for what I believe is one of the best roles of his career so far with Red, White, and Blue. And, he scored Best Supporting for his lead performance in that movie. Gillian Anderson also won, playing Margaret Thatcher in The Crown, as that show continued its dominion. Soul won Best Score, which means that Reznor and Ross lost to themselves, which is always a flex to have, but it's awesome to see John Batiste get the gold for his talent since they even animated his fingers for the movie. In terms of Best Animation though, look, I like Soul, but Wolfwalkers was one of the best. For a screenplay, I've been upfront about this. I would have picked any of these other ones for the win, but man, Sorkin is lucky they didn't qualify Mangrove because he would have taken that man to court. In terms of best song, it went to The Life Ahead, but I'd love to see her or Leslie Odom Jr. win for some of the other awards because I do think they were some of the best songs in this category. And in terms of best foreign film, you know the buffoonery that everyone's already talked about when it came to this, but at least they did honor Minari, and while they did have some decent jokes on the movie's behalf.
Hi, Dr. Ellison, this is Don Cheadle. I have a quick question. Do you think that Minari is right for me?
It wasn't funnier than hearing this said during the nominee.
Minari, USA.
Granted, it is considered the foreign language category, so they get to put it there. I'm not going to argue against that, unless it's a Tarantino movie and they don't play by their own rules. I just find it bogus that being in that category automatically disqualifies you from being even awarded in the top 2, even nominated, which, again, the Oscars don't do that, but for whatever reason, the Hollywood foreign press does. In terms of the honorees, Norman Lear was honored, and he even gave an homage to Carol Burnett as he received that award.
I just kind of casually do that, and that was hello to her. And I did that ever since. Every time I was on TV, I'd find a place to do this when I was on camera so that she would know I was thinking of her.
And Jane Fonda, looking better than my young adult cartoon self, was honored with the Cecil B. DeMille Award, and this woman is the real deal. If you haven't searched up anything about her, definitely go do so because, look, I'm gonna count the Globe as a G, toss in her win at the People's Choice, and just call it an EGOT for her.
I want to tell you how much I loved Small Axe, Lovers Rock. The second one's so great.
You know you're not in that broadcast?
But, no?
No, they can't hear you.
All right, everybody, sorry, I was just fixing
Why?
In terms of some of the other highlights for the show, Sarah Paulson showed off her pups, so, expect that in the fan cams. Joaquin pulled up with his animal equality hoodie, which, if you don't know, he did produce Gunda, so he's not joking when it comes to that stuff. We had people coming through as no-shows, which I found interesting considering it's a virtual event, so their kids are going to be the ones who get out of the virtual snow days this year. They had Tina hyping up all of the viral gifts that they can't wait to go viral, but then you remember it's NBC Universal, so they're just ready to claim all of those that are out there. Fincher took a shot, while Cheeto evoked what we all felt as the awards continue to complain about the runtime, while showing more commercials than they did awards.
It's also how we get the show to be 3 hours long.
The win for the best commercial, in my opinion, went to the Freedom Mom ad for keeping it real, while NBC just kept it coming. See, while Viacom CBS was so dumb when it came to how they promoted services during the Super Bowl, just wanting to stick to their crappy one, Universal's like, you know what? We'll take all the money. And what better time to promote all of these new services, except Netflix, than during an award show to remind you how all these cable companies had you cut the cord so you can drown in streaming? It does look like Denny won when it came to keeping Dune in theaters, which is going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But Apple, how are you going to make a commercial for your service and only promote one? You're only going to promote the Billie Eilish doc? Like, I appreciate y'all extending the service, but I kind of understand why, because y'all need to find a way to throw more movies in there. Y'all are lucky that Samsung looks goofy with their S2319 ads, because I guess you guys really are on top. You guys are ahead, because even Windows look goofy comparing their tablet to your laptop instead of the iPad repeatedly throughout the show. When it comes to all the acting categories, there were a bunch, but starting off with the limited TV series one, we had Mark Ruffalo winning, which, I've been on my game for Hugh Jackman. I think that should be counted as a movie, but he didn't even get a nomination for this one. But we've also been talking about how this man right here, Mark Ruffalo, is an actual Avenger and uses all of his speeches to advocate for advocation. Speaking of, the Golden Globes decided to waste more time in between, dragging out the show to advocate for themselves. Usually it's that dude from the Turtle Club who comes out to speak, but this year they selected their darkest members to come out and defend themselves. And, nothing else. That whole bit was just added last minute because of the reports. But while the big outlets want to relish in the views, to call out the Globes, they think they're really at it. They too were goofing when it came to Anya Taylor-Joy's win for Queen's Gambit, calling her a woman of color. So look, hey, I know everyone's trying to be woke, but some of y'all need a nap. Shout out Anya though, she was great. In terms of the comedy awards, Jason Sudeikis won for Ted Lasso, which was great to see because that's one of the best feel-good shows of the year. But what feel good was Twitter going wild on their double standards when it came to the memes they made on this man. Schitt's Creek continued its domination with best comedy, as well as Catherine O'Hara officially collecting more statues than Mora has hats. And then she got played off by her own husband.
Thank you, Deb, for loaning me your... No, I haven't... What?
The Crown continued its reign, winning Best TV Drama, Best Actor, Best Actress, and left Harry and Meghan gulping at home. Rosamund Pike won for I Care a Lot, and even though that script had me fuming when I was watching it, she has cornered the market on characters like these, and she kills it. Sometimes literally every single time she's doing it.
And finally, maybe I just have to thank America's broken legal system for making it possible to make stories like this.
Sacha won once again for playing the character of Borat, which is really dope to see, but I really was rooting for Maria Bakalova to also take it, but hey, they gave it to the whole movie as a whole.
And the Golden Globe goes to Borat subsequent movie film.
Granted, I don't know what this list was. Best Picture are two words that should never be next to Sia's Music or The Prom, and a movie nom for the musical Hamilton? Sir, I personally don't care if you count Hamilton as one of your favorites of the year, because, hell, $6.99 for Disney Plus is much better than $699 on Broadway, but, and I know some people disagree with this, I feel like we're just doing rollover minutes at this point. Like, they're bound to make a movie adaptation for Hamilton, so it just kind of it feels like the recording of this play alone is going to get an EGOT.
And the Golden Globe goes to Andra Day.
Andra Day surprised with the win for Billie Holiday, and honestly, when it comes to all these categories, Best Actress has been like the most interesting one because I have no idea where this is gonna go. It feels like each award show sticks with the same 3 actresses, but then they take turns nominating a different actress and then even awarding them that isn't appearing in any of the other award shows. So at this point, I have no idea what the Oscars are going to pull, but good for Day because she was the best part of that movie and killed it with her singing. And while I do think that no one has touched Anthony Hopkins' performance as lead in The Father, we know it's Chadwick season. That was my second favorite performance of the year, and his wife continues to come out and honor him and hold up his legacy.
He would say something beautiful, something inspiring, Something that would amplify that little voice inside of all of us that tells you you can, that tells you to keep going, that calls you back to what you are meant to be doing at this moment.
Finally, there's Queen Chloé, who with her directing win continues her streak and has already surpassed the most awards a filmmaker has received in a single award season. We're still 2 months away from the Oscars, and there's a bunch more to go. She surpassed Alexander Payne's record of, I think it was like 42 for Sideways, and I've counted 70-something awards just for her directing, editing, and writing. This doesn't even include the producing credits, which would mean that all of the times that she's won Best Picture, you would add another tally. And you can add another tally.
And the Golden Globe goes to Nomadland!
Thank you guys for checking out this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think about the awards in general? I mean, that's the whole point of these. We know, sadly, with all the reports that always comes out on all these award things, like, you know, the worst thing that you can get is the allegations about how they run the shows. I'm still concerned that they don't even watch them. Like, the people who vote for these things, they're just getting gift baskets. They're not even taking the time to watch the movies. That's always been the big thing that I have against these award shows. But hey, it's the season. It's always fun to recap them. You know, it's a great way to put some other movies on people's radar, because at the end of the day, it's all marketing. So I'm curious to know your thoughts on what movies you feel were snubbed, what movies you want to see get some love when it comes to all of the other awards. Which one are you more excited to see? Which ones do you actually value? Which ones do you think actually have some merit to it? When it came to this one, I was hoping they would go a little bit deeper with it. You know, Tina knows the jokes she could have made. She could have made a much better joke, especially when it came to Soul earlier on. You know, and I hate it when she just did it. You know, Tracy actually came in with the disrespect instead.
And the Golden Globe goes to Zhao.
Other than that, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. It's going to be interesting how all these awards evolve because, you know, even Morgan Freeman himself had mentioned the idea of changing the acting categories and considering, again, these award shows seem to promote a certain cause or a certain way of thinking, but then they're not really ready to even embrace that thinking. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle all that. But other than that, I'm curious to know your thoughts on this, all the other movies that we're going to be honoring this upcoming 2 months. So deep into 21, but we'll see. Other than that, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and the Hollywood Foreign Press will nominate you.